This delicious strawberry delight has so many different names, but it starts off with choux pastry, which simply is a combination of warming your water, adding your butter, and letting your butter melt along with some salt and some sugar. Make sure your sugar and your salt dissolve into the solution. So you put it in early so that it melts along with the butter and dissolves, and you've got this beautiful, rich mixture. Once that all has come together, it's time to add the flour at one go and stir rapidly. This takes about 3 to 5 minutes until the flour absorbs all that liquid, and you're going to start to begin to see a film at the bottom of the pan. Once your dough forms into a ball and is separating from the side of your pot, it is ready for the next phase, which is adding the eggs, but we've got to cool it down just for a hot second. I normally would do this part in a stand mixer. You can tell that the dough is absolutely ready because there's a film at the bottom of the pot, but I don't have the stove on. I'm just working it to continue to cool it down. Otherwise, the dough will burn. Now it's time to break your eggs into a separate container so that you can see whether the eggshells get in there. I use just a hand mixer just in case everyone doesn't have a stand mixer, and you incorporate the eggs one at a time. Once the first egg is fairly well incorporated in, it still will look very crumbly. It's time to add the second egg. Go about it in the same way until it looks like it's fairly incorporated in. Then add your third egg, and it's now going to start to look like more of a batter than a dough. With a stand mixer, the mess is a little bit more confined, but this allows me to show you what it should really look like. It's starting to be very sticky, but it's still not pliable enough, so one more egg should do the trick, and now it becomes a batter that I can pipe by putting it into a piping bag. It is really helpful to scrape down the sides and pull it back to the center while you're doing this in between, just so that all of the dough is well incorporated in. This is a consistency that you're looking for, and we're going to scrape down the sides one more time before we put all of this batter into a piping bag. Now this is where the fun actually begins. You're going to be surprised at how much batter is actually stuck up onto the sides of the bowl. Once you pull it all down, you should have quite a bit of batter to make anywhere between 12 and 15 zeppelis, strawberry cream puffs, whatever you would like to call them. Now it's time to get our piping bag all ready to put this in. So I just use a measuring cup. I put my nozzle onto my piping bag, and I've got an extra large piping bag. Now we take the tip and twist it so that the batter doesn't seep out as I'm filling it. Put it right into the measuring cup and flip the edges over the measuring cup. This simply makes it easier to get the batter in. It seems like there's not enough space, but I'm going to share with you the trick that I use as I'm putting the batter in. Because the batter is quite heavy, it will want to drop to the bottom, so just keep scooping your batter into the measuring cup. And if it's above the sides, then pull up the edges of the piping bag just like this, and instead of getting your hand dirty, I just use the side of the piping bag to scrape off the spatula. Give your piping bag a good shake to get all of that batter down to the bottom now, as well as to get rid of the air bubbles. I'm using a bench scraper to push all of my batter away from the sides so that I don't lose any either, right to the top of the piping bag. And now we're going to start by folding in the piping bag at the top. This prevents the batter from trying to leak out at the top. Now I twist it around my finger, and that just allows me a lot more control while I'm piping. I find the silk pad works best. I go in a circular motion, outer circle first and then towards the inner circle, and just draw your piping bag upwards. Don't worry about imperfections. You can fix it with a little water on your finger afterwards and just tap it down. The baking part of this recipe is key. You start in a preheated oven at 425 for 10 minutes. After that, drop the temperature down to 325 and leave it for 30. The first part allows it to rise. The second part allows it to stay risen. You can fill it with whatever fruit you like, but before you put fruit down, let them cool. Once they've cooled, it's time to cut them in half, and you'll see that there's a great big cavity inside where you can fill it with anything that is delicious or that your heart desires. I try to put down a cream base first, and the recipe for this cream is up on my site under the eclairs, and it's just whipped cream with a little bit of vanilla pastry cream incorporated in, and it serves as a great base. Once I've put the cream down, it's time to add the fruit so the fruit doesn't make the pastry soggy, then a little more cream so that the top sticks to the bottom. And that's it. It's pretty simple and it's delicious. This does last for a few days. Top it off with a little bit of powdered sugar for aesthetics and for flavor. I hope you enjoyed this recipe. I hope you subscribe to the channel, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Have an awesome day.